Record. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So we are recording. All right, so getting into the eSuite, I'm going to have to move some stuff around here a little bit. Okay, so you're familiar with going to reports
Yes.
up here on top?
Yep.
We're going to go over there and over to Tree Viewer.
Mm-hmm.
And you, the best is to uncheck the show inactive customers.
Right.
And I have to think for a second. I'm having a little brain fart. Oh yeah. Okay.
That's okay.
It's always good when I have my brain farts on recorded camera. All right. So I'm just gonna click through, and there you are. So let's just click on you first. And I have to get this. I don't know if this box is like in the way on your side or not.
Well, I see half of your web page on the left side.
Oh, so the boxes aren't in the way?
No, I don't see the box. On the left side, it's half your website and then half the eSuite.
Half my website.
Yeah.
So what if I
Yeah.
oh, that's not going to do it. My website, eSuite. So, but you can see it big enough to see what's going on? Okay.
Mhm.
So, you know, one thing that you can do as you're getting used to the eSuite and looking through here is you can check right here and you can see basically who's commission qualified and who's not. That's kind of important. That's important as you're promoting, especially for the people that are going to be in like the executive box and the Ruby box.
Mhm.
So, you know, you're going to look up here and you're going to see like previous paid rank. So last month you were Ruby. Right now you're coming in as distributor because the volumes aren't there yet. And
Right.
so if you don't bring in like new people and new volumes, chances are that, you know, and let's say everything stayed the same, then chances are this would probably stay distributor until the 25th of this month if everything stayed the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's when those other volumes from last month at the month end are going to run. And, you know, if you're looking at other people's stuff, you can also see down here if they have their auto ship scheduled and stuff, and and when it's going to run. You can see down here what the previous orders were as well. Okay. And then obviously we have, you know, account information. You can see when your renewal date is. So that's coming up here in August. And remember, that's going to be like, I think it's $37 to renew. And they're going to probably send you a reminder in an email form to see that. And then, of course, the volumes. I don't know if you had any questions specifically about that, but I know the other night we were talking and we said as we're coaching a little bit differently than what we first did, you know, like 3 years ago. And basically what we're telling people is if you know, we've always coached that the auto ship, the ADBV auto ship is necessary. And I guess that's still the way I would like to coach. But as we're going through the promotional season and you're going to have people in there that say, you know, I can't run an auto ship because I don't have money to do it. So if this number right here, this PBV, if that's 150 or greater, then they're still going to be commission qualified.
Okay.
Okay, so it's an ADBV or this 150 is what it is.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially what we're saying then is if like a person in a promotional position if they're working to build their team, like let's say an executive, a person going for executive is trying to build their team underneath them, and of course that means 2 team members below them. We're really in effect coaching people to say, okay, once that person in that executive position is going for or has 150 in personal bonus volume, we're coaching them to make sure that the 2 people below them have this 400, okay? And really, that person below them could have the 400 could be PBV or GV, because simply if that person doesn't have anybody else, these 2 numbers are going to essentially be the same.
Okay.
Because if they don't have anybody else, the volume that they have is going to be coming from themselves, but it's also going to show up in their GV. That makes sense. You have your own personal pot, like this is your own personal pot, and then this is everything coming from the whole team, but your stuff is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The only time that we figure it as separate is when we're looking at the personal bonus volume to qualify you as to be pay or commission qualified. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So, and then the other thing is, when we're coaching people to get, their team to that, or, if it's an executive and we're coaching them to get to that 400 GV, then we're also essentially coaching you or that executive, whoever brings that person on, to make sure that that person gets their 2 low customers, in their first 30 days minimum, because that means $100 fast start for you.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked with that person. It's essential that you don't leave money on the table. And the $100, the fast start qualification, getting that $100 fast start is huge. That's $100 that you can get. And so even if you place those first 2 low customers, and then you say, Sally, I placed those 2 low customers. Guess what? You get to go in and get a wrap reward, not you, but Sally does. Gets to go in and claim that wrap reward for $25. So she gets that. You get the $100, and then if you coach her to go and get the other 2 loyal customers, then she's going to get 1 more wrap reward. Plus, she's going to get her 120 in free product credit. So there is, there's some coaching through this, to help people see, hey, if I do this, then I get that. Kind of like the other night when I drew out, the total amount of money that you could get, like in your first 60 days, if you complete the steps and if you sell the wraps that come to you. Okay. So let's click through here a little bit and then look at your chart and see how that looks.
Okay.
So we click that down arrow on the side. If I'm not timed out here. Oh, something's going on. It says don't panic. I always like to panic. I'm sure it just timed out or something.
Yeah, it's very touchy in there.
Yeah, and I usually like to use a mouse, which I'm just using my keypad right now.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Okay. What's going on here? It's not letting me click your drop down. It's like it's frozen. It's weird. My whole thing is frozen. It's bizarre. Maybe I need to It's like my whole mouse is frozen right now.
Hmm. Everybody's on it.
Yeah, that's probably what it is too. Yeah, it's not letting me move at all here. Strange. Well, let me just as long as we're on here, I don't want to blow this. So let's just do this. Let me try and log in on my phone here.
Okay.
And I'll take a look at your chart there and make sure that what you showed me
is
is
correct.
the same. And I think, let's see, I think I had your chart written out from the other day. So I have an emerald chart for you here.
Okay.
Let's see. One more second, I'll be logged in here. That's really weird. My screen is just frozen. Okay. Reports. And do you have people that you're talking to yet about the business? I mean, that you're working with for possible distributors, or what's that looking like?
Well, I know Amy put a distributor underneath Shanna. So Shanna is going to be Amy's executive.
Shanna is. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
They already have that set up.
Scratch that in there. And Alexis. Okay. Okay, so now just looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I don't remember. I'm showing 7 people on your top line right now. Is that? I'm showing Zachary, Sabrina, Kiana, Amy, Inez, Trista, and Angelica. Angelica must be new.
Alexis. Angelica. Oh yeah, Angie. She just signed up last night.
Last night. So you're looking to place her yet, right?
Yeah, we're looking to place her to get us all set up for promoting.
Okay. And then, so she's your newest one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see here. So you said Shana brought on who?
Shanna brought on, I believe her name is Courtney, I want to say.
Hang on, let me scroll through here. So Amy.
Brought on Courtney and was going to place her underneath Shanna.
So nobody's underneath Shanna on my end yet.
Okay.
So she must not be placed yet.
I don't know.
What's her name?
I think her name is Courtney.
And who brought her on?
Amy did.
Okay,
I
so
know.
right
I know.
now, right now from Amy, I'm seeing the three, that Shanna and Jackie and Alexis. I don't see Amy having any other people on than that. So
Okay, she must have canceled because when she signed up, then the next day she was telling Amy that she didn't want to do it anymore, and then
uh,
Amy was talking to her and coaching her. And the last time I talked to Amy, Amy said she was going to meet with her and sit down and talk with her a little bit more about it. And then I didn't hear anything after that, so I didn't know if she canceled or if she was still on because it sounded like she was still on to me, but she
yeah.
may have canceled.
According to my eSuite here, she is not showing up. So,
And
so
she would
right.
have. Amy signed her up a couple days ago, so she probably canceled.
Okay. So let's look over at Kiana then for a minute, and I'm still showing her three top liners as well: the Amanda, Jody, and Lindsay.
Yes. Yep.
So the question really right now is, um, you already told me that Shanna was going to be the executive on Amy's side. Are you
Yeah.
thinking? Did we say that Lindsay was going to be the executive on Kiana's side?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. So if we know those things, then the next question is that needs to happen next here is, where are we going to place Angie?
Okay. Do you
So
think it would be better to place her underneath Shanna because Shanna's already got her BB up and Lindsay is new, or does it really matter?
essentially, it really doesn't matter at this point. I mean, you've brought on quite a few people, so hopefully that trend continues. I guess
Yeah.
if I was going to do it, I'd probably place her on one side or the other, either under Shanna or Lindsay, and then I would look at the next person I bring on. I would maybe look at placing it opposite of where I placed that last one.
Okay.
I mean, and it really doesn't matter either. I mean, you could make an argument to say, well, let's get Amy, finished off and get her Ruby. But if you look at it on plan A, where you place 1 and 1, then you could also say, that Amy could, or both Amy and Shannon could go and get it to fill it out and finish it up. And
Hmm.
help you out. So that would be my reason, I guess, for placing 1 on one side and then going and placing 1 on the other side, so that you're kind of working together and you're not
Right.
doing it for them. Hey, I was going to ask you, am I frozen up on your side?
On your screen, or
Yeah, like on our pictures, are we frozen up on your side, or is that just on my side?
I can see your pictures just fine.
Okay. So yeah, I would go ahead and just decide. And I guess when you place, here's the other thing, like when you place Angie, wherever you decide to place her, I would have a conversation with both your Ruby person and your executive person, and I would say, okay, we're building here. I have a person to place. I'm going to place that person, underneath you or in your organization. And then I would say, who do we have to talk about? Who can I help you talk with that you're working with, or who can we get in front of John and Liz, so that we can complete this structure and you can both promote. I guess that's kind of the way I would word it.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions on interpreting how the chart is coming together, with placement and stuff like that?
No, I think I got it down, the gist of it a little bit more.
Okay.
So for me to promote to Diamond, Does all the new distributors have to be at 400?
Yes and no. So here's the no side. So let's say that for your diamond, once you accomplish this emerald, that means that Amy and Kiana are going to be ruby rank. As long as, and I'm assuming from what you're telling me that Amy will maybe be your emerald. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that means that Kiana, for your diamond, then Amy would be your emerald. And so you're still there yet, right?
Yep.
Okay. That means that Amy would be moving up a rank from ruby to emerald. So all of the people underneath her would have to get 400 GV again. Now, Kiana, on the other hand, being that she would not be required to be any higher than a ruby for you to promote to diamond, that means that the people in her boxes, they don't necessarily have to be at 400.
Okay.
You can, they've made it where, do you know what maintenance volume is?
No.
So there's a chart inside of your, let me see if I can just scroll through and find it in my book here. There's a chart in your compensation plan that's labeled maintenance volume.
Maintenance volume. Okay.
Maintenance volume. There's a little section in there. And this is just my charts book.
Yeah, because I signed up 2 customers last night, so I'm looking to place those too.
Well, and you'll notice that, and some of the charts I have here are actually the old ones, but you can actually maintain your rank for ruby and executive through maintenance volume, and the other ones up the line as well.
Okay.
But so for ruby, what that means is that the volume, you have to have a minimum of 4,000 in GV.
For ruby.
For ruby, to maintain ruby. And the volumes that are required for maintenance are always split half and half. So that means that if you take half of 4,000, that means that 2,000 can count from your largest leg. So basically, if we're talking about Amy, Amy would be looking at her executive, and her executive would be her largest leg. So that's Shanna. All right. So that means that whatever is, when you pull up Shanna's GV volume, 2,000 of that can count, and the other 2,000 has to come from everywhere outside of Shanna. Now, when you do that, when you meet those 2 requirements of having a minimum of 4,000 and half of it counting from your largest leg, when you meet those requirements, that means that you don't have to have 400 in each box to maintain the rank of ruby. So I'm building up to this. So that means that when you promote, if Kiana has maintained her ruby rank through maintenance, that means that she does not have to have 400s in her boxes. Because let's just pick Jody. Let's say that Jody just, lost the fire and she doesn't have 400. But let's say that Mandy and probably another girl outside of Lindsay are really kicking it, and they're really doing an awesome job bringing on loyal customers. So essentially, they're making up all of the volume that Jody should have been contributing as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And that's maintenance. That's maintenance. So when you're not promoting, you can maintain through maintenance volume. So Kiana can be a maintenance volume person for you when you go to diamond. But so that means that Amy, if she's promoting to emerald, which you need 1 emerald and 1 ruby out of 2 separate legs to promote, that means that all of Amy's people, the ones that she has now and the new ones, would need to have 400 at least in the 400 BV boxes or GV boxes, in order to promote. The executives, the rubies, they would only need to have the 150 or the 80 BV auto ship.
Okay.
Okay. So that's maintenance volume. That's promoting. Did I miss anything, or do you have another question about any of that?
So where would you suggest to put these 2 customers that I signed up then under?
Okay, 2 customers. So without knowing, where your volumes ended up from last month, okay, first of all, without knowing where volumes ended up, is there any distributors that you brought on that don't have their first 2 loyal customers?
Yeah, they all don't have it. All the ones that I brought on, they do not have their first 2. Except for
So,
Jackie's got 4, but the newly ones that I just brought on, they don't.
okay, so
Andy, Cody, they don't have
when you
anything.
have new distributors that are inside of their first 30 days, and this is where you can go to that, where we are in TreeViewer there, you can go in there and see, and really you should be writing it down on a sheet of paper so you know who's inside of their first 30 days, who has their first 2 low customers, who's fast start qualified. Okay. Because again, to reiterate that and to pound that in, that is cash money laying on the table. So if you're bringing on loyal customers and you have distributors that you brought on that are inside their first 30 days that don't have their first 2 loyal customers, you definitely want to place those first 2 loyal customers for them so that you get paid your $100 fast start.
Okay.
So put that down as a rule that you want to do that so that you get paid your $100 on each of those.
Okay.
Okay. And then the second step to that is is talking to them, saying, hey, I placed 2 low customers underneath you. I'm grabbing $100 fast start because of that. I want you to be able to grab your 120 in free product credit and your second wrap reward by placing 2 low customers of your own.
So when you're signing those distributors on and you place them underneath somebody else, are you getting that fast start, or is it the person that you placed it underneath?
The person who does the placing gets the $100 fast start. So if you bring them on and place them, you get the $100 fast start.
Oh.
Right?
I misunderstood, and so I was.
Are you adding up? You should be adding up $100 fast starts in your head right now.
I know. I was telling my other distributors, I think you're gonna get the $100 because I placed it underneath you.
No.
Oh,
They're benefiting, Amanda. They're going to benefit from having people placed under them, but you're doing the work of bringing that person on, so you're going to get that $100 fast start. Now, on the other hand, when you place a loyal customer underneath somebody, check this out, because this is a little bit different. So if you place, like I said, if you place 2 loyal customers underneath a distributor of yours, you get the $100 fast start. They're going to get the wrap reward where they pay $25 and they get, a box of wrap. So that part they are going to get.
Yeah.
So it's not, don't worry about it. I mean, it's not like you said something wrong or misleading. You just didn't quite have everything all straight.
Yeah.
So, the long and the short of it is there's a little something for everybody.
Right.
There's incentive for you to help them get that. There's incentive for them to go out and get the rest of it.
Right.
Because usually, if we're trying, and this is the other thing that Liz and I always tried to do, we always tried to, I guess, upsell people with like the packs.
Mm-hmm.
So our system is a pack right now. You could sell people the cleanse, but why not sell them the system?
Right.
And, a bonus of selling them the system is that they're going to get free shipping.
Yeah, that's how I've been selling 'em. I sold another system last night, and I just say, you're going to get free shipping with that. And, if they still don't budge, then I say, well, I'll throw in a $10
There
credit.
you go. There you
You know,
go.
so I
You
think
can't
I'm trying
lose
to,
that way.
yeah, I'm just trying to teach my girls to do the same. But right now, they're just really not understanding like the loyal customer program. They're not really understanding like how to talk to people about it, or not understanding like presenting product testers and then relating it to the loyal customer program. So I think once we get on this Zoom with everybody on Saturday, I think that everybody's just going to be more at peace of mind with understanding things, and they're just going to be on fire, and they're just going to go this month.
Right. So would you say that your team probably needs to hear some of the stuff that I told you today?
Yeah, probably,
Okay.
because they're just really not understanding. I think most of them, they did watch the video in the e-suite, but they're not wrapping their brain around it, because they're
Right.
always, how are you getting these customers? Like, I'm posting advertisements needing product testers, and this person said that they don't need the system, so now I'm out of the sale, and
Right.
I'm telling them it's flexible. They don't need to have that. They can have any product. It's
Right.
endless. So,
Right. And that's what I try to do too, is I try to start with assuming that they're going to want to be a distributor. If they
right.
don't, if I see that that just isn't there, then I downgrade them to a customer. And if you're working with a customer, you're going to basically start with the system. And if you can't get them to budge on that, you're going to work them down to, whatever, like, starting with the cleanse and going with greens and going with, fat fighters the third month or whatever that looks like.
Yeah,
So,
I think that they're kind of scared to just ask for the sale, but I keep telling them people want this stuff. And the
mhm,
more you learn about it and the more you say, well, this is what you need and I'm going to give you a deal, then I land the deal all the time.
right,
And they just need to realize that don't be wishy-washy about it, because then that makes the other person uneased about the whole conversation, and
right.
then they're gonna back gonna they're not gonna be comfortable with signing up with you. So
So something that I've been using here lately is, when somebody asks me, they're like, well, what is it works or whatever, and I'm like, well, we're a health and wellness company that has 38 products. And I'll say I'm kind of featuring two ends of the spectrum right now. I have a facial end, or a skincare end on one end where you can treat yourself topically, or I move down to the other end where we have the system, and there you can treat yourself from the inside out. And so we go from, taking care of the skin on the outside to taking care of the body, the intestines, cleaning out so that your body, your system can clean itself out. And I talk a little bit about how cancer is prevalent in an unbalanced pH atmosphere. And I try not to get too deep, but I try to put my finger on the pain point. And the pain point today is that everybody has somebody that they know that has cancer today.
right.
So I try to put my finger on that pain point, and I try to get them to realize that if they're ingesting, essentially toxins from the environment around them, whether that's the foods, the drinks that they drink, whatever, I try to get them to realize that cleaning out is a necessity, and our system is going to do that for them.
That is a good analogy, because I have been struggling with explaining the system to people. I just say it's going to clean out all the junk in your body
Yep.
that's not coming out,
Yep.
but
And
that would really help
I
them.
think an important thing to remember as you're talking about this stuff is figure out a simple few words to say it in. Like I just said, I can't say enough, and Cammie said this when she was down here. She said a confused mind says no. A confused mind is going to shut down. So the less you can say, the simpler you can say it while still putting pressure on their pain point, the better. And then if you can say what you say and stop and just let them think about it, instead of when you keep talking, they're thinking, but they're not hearing what you're saying. So you're kind of just talking to the dead space.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. So Saturday, I think what we'll do is if you want to coach your team a little bit, they don't even know what they don't know, first of all. So I would say if you can coach them to have maybe a question, and we'll see how many people you get on and see how much time we have. But if you can either coach them to have a question, or if you can think up some things that you might think that are things that they need to know, and then, roughly with what we did today, then we'll just kind of go through that and see if we can educate them a little bit and send them out with some, I guess, a little more ammunition in their bag or whatever.
Yeah.
Give them some word choices, stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think once they're not so confused anymore, then they're just going to run, and we're going to have a really good month.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to set them off with, is to each.
I think that the thing too, like when I tell people we have 38 products, I say we have 38 products with our company. Essentially, we have something for whatever your pain point is. I'm not going to go through all those. Why don't you just tell me what your pain point is, and I'll see if I can help you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I usually do. I say, what is your goal that you want to have in the next 3 months? And then we can discuss the right product for you.
Because a lot of times people don't even realize like that we have something for them, like, and they don't even realize like, oh, I'm taking a prescription medication for something. I don't even realize that there's something natural. For instance, something as simple as I can't get a great night's sleep.
Right.
Or I can't, I struggle with going to the bathroom, consistently, on a daily basis. Well, some people think that's normal to do that. So, I had one girl the other night when I was doing my party that she asked about the energy, and it was interesting because I wanted to highlight a few of the things. I had two gals in the room, and so I wanted to highlight a couple of the things in the ingredients of the energy. And one of them that I highlighted on purpose was the biotin. And then I quizzed them. I said, "Do you guys know what biotin is for, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's for hair, skin, and nails." And as soon as she said hair, skin, and nails, then I whipped out my hair, skin, and nails, and I said, "Look," I said, "there's X amount of micrograms of biotin in the can of energy," but I said, "Look how much is in the hair, skin, and nails itself." And she goes, "I'm ordering that on month 2.
Nice.
Okay, so I mean, it's really, it's a combination of listening, having a little bit of intuition about who you're working with. Like if I'm working with a guy over 40, I'm definitely going to be pushing the system because, that guy is getting ready for his first colonoscopy. And no guy out there wants to be best friends with the proctologist.
Right.
So if you can talk to a guy and say, "Hey, buddy, would you be okay with cleaning out your system at home so that you didn't necessarily have to go to the proctologist?" I think the guy would be like, "Yeah, I'm down with that. Plus, I don't have to hover close to the can, for 3 days."
Right.
So just explain some of those things and be real with the guys, and that's where knowing who you're talking to. I'm not necessarily going to talk to a guy about hair, skin, and nails because most of the guys who've lost their hair really could care less anyways.
Right.
But, they are going to be interested in, some of the more guy products, cleaning out, energy, some, not all of them are going to be interested in the greens, but I told one guy the other day, his sister brought him up, and he was an older guy, and she's like, yeah, he doesn't like vegetables. And I said, I bet you nobody's ever told this to you before, but I said, you know what? With this, you could actually get away with not eating your vegetables and still be better off by taking your greens. Because I said there's 8 servings of fruits and vegetables in this per dose, and 38 superfoods. So I said, I can tell you right now, you don't need to eat your vegetables, and you're still going to get more value out of this 1 pack of greens than eating 1 serving of green beans in a day.
Nice.
And he was cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right. I think that's really going to help them.
Okay. Well, good. I hope that this recorded. It was frozen up on my end for a while. So
yeah, it's showing to me that it's still recording. So
okay. So we will see, and I will get this recording out to you, and I'll share it with you once I get it uploaded to YouTube. And then if you choose to share it, you can, or if you want to just show it to Chris, that's fine too, and whatever you want to do. And then, did we have a time that we set up? Did you set something up with Liz already for Saturday?
Yeah, we set it up for 9 a.m. is when most of the girls were available.
Okay.
To get on, so they're all super excited, and a lot of them are going to be at the Michigan training. So I'm
perfect.
That, and then I'll be taking the rest of my team that can't come to the Chicago one if they can get over there too. So
that's awesome. Because we've been preaching this too, that getting your people, getting your brand new people especially to company sponsored events is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. It brings a whole new level of understanding about what our culture is, and it's going to give them training. Even though I think that today with our Zooms that we're doing, I would like to think that I hope that we're doing a ton of training, giving people ideas so that they don't have to just wait once or twice a year to get really great trainings from the company.
Yeah, I really like the Zooms, and it's going to help my team because they're all over the place. Most of them are up north versus being here.
Mm-hmm.
But I know when I plugged myself into going to the events after a couple of them, then I really saw the vision of the company, and hearing everybody's stories really helped me too, because I know when I first started, my vision was like, oh, I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to be at the rank that I want to be in within like 2 months.
Right.
And I was just so excited, and I didn't realize that it's a work in progress. You gotta take baby steps and be
right. But don't forget, especially you in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, you've been so successful. Just try to really break that down in real simple format, and tell your new people exactly what you're doing. If it's your wording or whatever it looks like, just tell them exactly what you're doing, because you want to be replicatable, duplicatable. So I mean, I think you're keeping it pretty simple, so just kind of tell them what you're doing, keep it simple, and you know what I'm saying?
I'm like,
you don't even know what you're doing, right?
I just
No, it's funny because sometimes we don't. We're just like, I don't know, it's just working. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing I was doing before. And, sometimes it's a combination of the excitement and, maybe some word choices that you're using. So
I think that's what really changed, and how I got people to actually really come on board this month is I was more excited this month, and I was just posting a lot more. Like I feel like when I post like every hour or every hour and a half to 2 hours, then people are like, man, she's posting a lot. Like, why does she keep? It's annoying, but I'm just gonna keep watching her.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely think that the excitement, and I would say really what that excitement is it's belief. You went from maybe thinking, yeah, I want this, but do I really believe it? You're sort of questioning yourself. But when you went to when you went to conference and saw Cami and, you know, in the room with these people, I think that you probably caught the belief. And so I think that's probably the difference of when you came back, you had a different kind of belief that went along with your excitement. And I think that's what people are seeing, is they're seeing the belief in the system, in the products, and obviously in the compensation plan and the bonuses and all of that stuff. And that's sort of, it's just oozing out of you, and people are catching the vision. So
yeah, because I know before I went to conference, you know, I didn't even think that I was deserving of any of that type of life, you know. And then around Cami and Mark and them, and seeing their, you know, just generosity and accepting of anybody, you know, and having them say, you deserve this life too, you know, we're just like you,
right.
and you're our family. That really sunk in. And so then I came back and I'm like, yes, we deserve this life. We deserve to hang out with these
Yeah.
people, have what
Awesome.
and stuff. So I'm
Awesome.
excited to get that vibe too and meet everybody. So
Well, cool. Yeah, let's see here. Once I just saw one blip on the bottom of the screen here. Are you seeing my screen? I suppose not, huh?
no. Mm-mm.
Just give me a second here. Okay, let's see. See if it lets me do this. Open.
How long do you say that the kits will come in for people? Because they're starting to ask me now. Probably a week or so.
I mean, when I ordered my last systems, I think it was, you know, the free shipping was like 7 to 14, but I'm kind of thinking like 7 to 10, probably.
Okay. Yeah, because I know it was on back order, so I'll just give them
Right.
like
Let's see here. Just give me a second here yet. I'm looking. Generations. Have you been in the compensation plan yet or not?
not since I started, no.
Let me just
briefly when I started, but I haven't been in it for like 5 months.
let me just cruise over here quickly. You can see my screen now.
Yep.
Let me just go back up to the top here. So I'm in the compensation plan here. Got the table of contents there. I would really be coaching I would coach your newbies to, you know, look at the first part of it. You know, definitely they don't have to get into the depths of it, but, you know, it just gives them a great place to go. Like if they're looking to read a couple pages of something at night when they're bored, or if they want something for their husbands to look at, you know, just give them another, you know, right here, it talks about having the become commission qualified right there on top. You know, it talks about that 150 bonus volume and process and it doesn't, and you notice it doesn't say and. It says if you didn't, after enrolling your month, complete one of the following to be commission qualified. See, and we actually had a little, we didn't really know that. We were always coached that you had to run your ADBV auto ship.
Yeah.
But you can qualify for, you know, being fully commission qualified by just running that 150. So we are coaching people, at least when they're first getting started, to, you know, get that. If you can't run your ADBV, then get it in a personal or in a, you know, personally loyal customers, and make sure you have it that way. The rebate credit on the customers, and that is broken down on another, talks about how to be fast start qualified here. It's just some great information. You know, as we're mentioning terminologies, words like fast start qualified, the person's going to be like, well, what is that? Well, this is kind of they should have this sheet printed off and up, you know, like I said, so that you can go in your eSuite and you can teach them to do the same and check and see if a person is fast start qualified, And then of course, right down here, it says within their first 30 days.
Okay.
You know, that's really it's your timeline. I know we talked about compression with a couple of the other groups. That's not something you really need to know right off the bat. Let's see. Just a lot of really great information in here. You know, it talks about the you know, how you're going to receive your pay. You know, so when you've got your first 2 levels, you're getting 10% off of those. And then you also get a 5% enroller bonus. So that's kind of a key thing. Like you're crushing it. You're crushing it with bringing on distributors. So what I always like to tell people too is, see, a lot of people coming from sort of like a entitled background, they think, oh, it's really cool if Amanda does all the placing for me, you know, and brings on all these distributors and just gives them to me.
Yeah.
Here's the drawback that I like to tell people about. So when you place someone that you've brought on underneath someone, you know, let's say on your top level, you're going to get 10% and they're going to get 10%. But you're going to get 5% for enrolling on everything that person does. So that person, if you've placed their top line person and that person's rocking it out, you're going to get 15% off of that. They're only going to get 10% off of that person. And let me tell you, when that person is crushing it after a while, that 5% is going to be huge. So if they can go out and get their own people, you know, they're going to, in the end, they're going to thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more things real quickly here. I wanted to get down and see the, you know, generational bonuses. You really don't need to know anything about that until you reach the diamond level, because that's when generational bonuses kick in.
Okay.
And one thing for you to know out of that is that if you bring someone on, for example, after your diamond, and that person does their fast start qualification, so you get $100 for bringing them on, right? And they get their fast start. You're at diamond, you're going to get an $80 payout beyond that.
Oh.
Okay, and that talks about right here. Those are actually generational bonus percentages, but the payouts. I'm trying to remember where they have that, but it starts at 80 for a diamond. Once you get to be double diamond, you unlock, and I think it goes to diamond goes to I think 120, and I think Liz and I are at triple. We're at 135. So that means that, for example, when we bring someone on who fast start qualifies, we get $100 for the fast start, and we get $135 because we're triple diamond coded or generational bonus coded. So every time that person underneath us, so like you, for example, when you're bringing people on and they get fast start qualified, so you've brought someone on, you get $100 fast start. That person gets a wrap reward because of the 2 low customers. If they bring on 4, they get another wrap reward plus their 120 in free product credit. And Liz and I, we get 135 out of that because they got fast start qualified. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So there's really a there's a real incentive for you to get to diamond. If you haven't heard it said yet, getting to diamond unlocks the capability to basically print money because of those generational bonuses. It's really, really cool.
So essentially, once you get to diamond, is it safe to say that you're gonna keep going further, or?
Well, let's say it like this. Let's say it like this, Amanda. When you get to diamond, you know, you've essentially built 3 rubies. Okay, and the company really is rewarding you for doing a good job building rubies and fast start qualifying people. And what they're going to do is they're basically they've turned it up a notch by giving you that extra 80 by creating your own generation. It's kind of like in real simple terms, it's sort of like when a kid turns 18. And he goes from being on his parents' insurance program and leeching off of his parents to supporting himself and creating his own family. That's really what a diamond is. And when you get to that spot, the company rewards you by giving you an $80 bonus for everybody that's brought on in your new generation. Okay.
Okay.
And I know that I'm being very like overview-ish on that. I'm not being real deep on that, but that's all I'm really shooting to do is give you an overview. So here's those payouts right here that I was talking about. So when you get to diamond and you create your own generation, you get an $80 on top of that 100 when you sponsor somebody. And anytime that person that you the sponsored new after diamond, anytime they sponsor anybody or anybody gets sponsored in there, you get an $80 for every person that comes on into your organization. And Fast Start qualifies. And then the money just keeps going up. So you add 40 to it at double diamond, so you get 120, like I said. You add another 15 to it when you reach the triple diamond, so you're getting 135. All right? So it's pretty huge. I know at one time, I think Denise Walsh said that when she was making, it was like $80,000 or $100,000 paycheck, 40% of that paycheck was coming from Fast Start and generational bonuses.
Wow.
Imagine that. You come into this company, you come into this business just for maybe thinking you're gonna knock it out of the park with rap cash.
Yeah.
Right? And then you start building a team, and before long, you've graduated to diamond, and you're starting to knock it out of the park with generational bonuses and fast starts. And they're half your check.
That's crazy.
So there's way more money here than what people even imagine. That's why when we start to try to talk to people and get them to see the light on it works, we're like, you guys have no idea what our compensation plan is capable of.
Yeah.
Literally be a millionaire.
Yeah. I didn't really understand the gist of the compensation line. I only joined to make like an extra $200 to $500 a month.
Right. So you got leadership bonuses are in there too. We don't even, a lot of times we don't start talking about that with you guys until you're diamond. But, maybe we should be talking about it sooner so that you realize that, hey, there is money out there to be grabbed. You get a 2% raise on your whole deal when you turn diamond. Second generation, you get a 4% raise when you go double diamond. That was huge for us. That was like an extra $4,000 or $5,000 just by getting that when we turned double diamond. And that's how when you look at the average the average pay on the compensation chart in the party pad, when you see that the number goes from when it doubles, that's how they're doing it right there. That's part of how they're doing it. That's a big part though.
Wow.
Okay. And I wanted to get to the maintenance, which is right here. So here's that maintenance chart that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So when Liz and I came in, you could only maintain at the level of diamond through maintenance volume. But now they've opened it up to emerald and ruby. And you can see what the numbers are there.
Mm-hmm.
And those are minimums. You have to have those as a minimum. Okay. So it's cool. I mean, back here, they give a glossary of terms. So if you're working with your newbies and they don't know what things mean, it's all in here. It's just really good stuff to definitely at this time of the year. I don't want you to get caught up spending a lot of time back here. I just want you to be aware of it.
Yeah.
This is like rainy day stuff, that you go to when you got absolutely nothing else to do, which you got plenty to do in this month that you don't need to necessarily be back here. But I wanted you to be aware of some of the capabilities beyond what you're doing. You've done so much already, but there's so much more out there. Just, when you hit diamond, it's just you're going to be like, whoa, this is crazy. So
I'm already overwhelmed. So I told Chris, I was like, I'm pretty sure that we're going to hit diamond this month. So, I mean, watch out. I'm going to be like a hysterical mess. And I just, know what to do with myself, and I'm just like really gonna be crazy for like a couple of days. So
That's
just
good. Don't forget to celebrate along the way.
yeah.
So we just, we want to, you're doing awesome, and we just want to keep you pointed in the right direction, and
Yeah,
give you knowledge as you go along.
yeah, it's definitely helping out. Right now, my goal is just to get my team going and not confuse them because I think like right now I'm confusing them a little bit and I don't want them to
Sure.
be confused. I want to,
Loyal
lead them.
customers and distributors. Loyal customers and distributors. Steps to
Yeah.
success. That's all they need to know at this point. And then, when they've been in a little while, then we start having conversations like I just had with you about the compensation plan.
Yeah.
But this is what they need to know right now, because loyal customers and distributors are going to be the initial way of how they build their business. And after they get enough of those, then they're going to start to get in on bonuses and fast start qualifications and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, all right, I'm going to let you go. Liz is calling me from the other room. She must have a kettle on the front burner or something. So it was
Okay,
good
so
chatting with you.